Alright, bonjour, good day, ladies and gentlemen. There's quite a lot to talk about with the market today. So in this video, I'm going to run through some technical analysis with Ethereum, talk about what I see happening both short-term and long-term, mention some off-chart factors that you need to know about, and let's really discuss this double top with Bitcoin that everyone seems to really have a hard on for. So, folks, if you like the sound of that, please do me a favor, do yourself a favor, like, subscribe, comment, share, hit that bell icon to be notified of new uploads because there's so much important stuff to talk about here. Let's just begin by briefly describing some of the most important support and resistance levels that you need to be aware of with Ethereum to understand what is happening next. Well, folks, let's zoom out because what's happened in the past has can bear and play some influence in the future. That's why technical analysis works. Okay, when we were in this what you could call a narrowing channel, for example, where we can see that if we just extend these support and resistance lines from back in the day here, this is exactly where we have been finding rejection. We could not hold above $1,800, and so now we're going to retest the low 1700 range. We are finding support exactly where predicted. So I think 1720 to 1700 is the key range to maintain above for Ethereum to remain short-term bullish. Another thing as well, we may just be retesting this green support line based off kind of these three 4 or 5, these wicks here. If we just extend the support line, this is an area where we could anticipate support. So until we start to break below 1720, 1700 and this green support line, I think Ethereum is short-term bullish. If we start to break below that, next support line I think is this green level here. Okay, based off these two wicks, if we just extend a support line here, we can see how this range is still relevant to this stage. So I think if we do break down, that is kind of our next stop as well. One of our fill levels lines up pretty close with 1560. There's also a lot of volume building up in those regions. So I think kind of a retesting of some of those regions makes some sense. Now, folks, let's talk about Bitcoin. It's important to understand Bitcoin because Bitcoin affects the rest of the market. It leads the market. Now, there's a lot of talk that we may have a double top here, which indeed is bearish. If Bitcoin cannot make a higher high within the next few days here, next 2-3 days or so, if we cannot make a higher high, then we would have made a macro lower high, and that is very, very bearish. And so we're probably likely to have some kind of extended pullback here. Now let's pull up one of our to the visible range here. And let's do this. I want to make the visible range. For those who don't know, this is actually how you change the visible range and get it to look like the way it looks in my videos. You just change it to this, and there you go. It's much more helpful. So in terms of pullback targets for Bitcoin here, well, I think this green line here, probably our first stop if we pull back. Aside from that, I think kind of the 54,200 range will probably be our next stop if we pull back here. And then aside from that, I think kind of the original important resistance zone of $52,000. We can see how this was continually thrice a price reactive level. Once acting as resistance, since we've broken above, it will now act as support. So this is going to be a very key level for Bitcoin moving forward. I think this is these two areas right here at 54,200 and 52,000 are probably our pit stops if we do have a bit of a pullback here. Now, something that I've been mentioning quite a lot on the channel, let's say we do have like more of an extended pullback, right? Because double tops can be nasty. Let's say we pull back even further. Let's say we break down from this green line here. Let's say we break down from this green line here. Oh no, it's doom and gloom. The sky is falling. It's time to panic, sell, and FOMO buy. Here, folks, this is the most important support level for Bitcoin moving forward. Is the 50 simple daily moving average. As we see here, last time we pumped and dumped, this is exactly where we stopped correcting and exactly where we started pumping, which if we were to fall down to it now, would actually make a macro higher low, which means we'd still be we could still be even short-term bullish. So I think this right here, 44,900 is probably the floor for Bitcoin currently speaking. So whatever way you slice this, we're probably going to still be making a higher low. So I'm not worried about the long-term future. Now, if we start to get daily candles close below the 50 simple moving average on the daily, that is when I'd be worried about Bitcoin. And it's always important to understand Bitcoin and follow Bitcoin because it affects the rest of the market. And one reason why it affects the rest of the market is because of the pairing. So whatever coin you're into, folks, whether it's Cardano, Ethereum, Polkadot, Elrond, whatever it may be, there's always a pairing with Bitcoin. For example, right now with Ethereum, the Ethereum Bitcoin pairing plays some influence on the US dollar value of Ethereum. So it's always important to follow Bitcoin, and it's always important to follow the pairings, because you can often find hidden support and resistance and hidden bullish and bearish divergence. So we got rejected exactly where predicted, and we've fallen below a key support area. So this support area that was we can see here was very price reactive here, constantly acting as resistance as soon as we broke above, and then acted as support. You're seeing we fell back down to retest it, held it as support, but now we've broken below it. So this area is now at resistance once again. We are finding support exactly where predicted in my green box range here. If we cannot maintain above this key level here, I think kind of our next stop is a 0.03 level here. That is probably where we see the bleeding start to stop with Ethereum. I would wager that once we find kind of at the very least maybe perhaps a temporary floor support with the Ethereum-Bitcoin pairing, that's probably when Ethereum finds its temporary floor of support on the US dollar value. So very important to understand this thing moving forward as well. If we break out of any of these key support and resistance areas, that is very likely to translate to the US dollar value of Ethereum. So must follow this chart, very important chart. Now, folks, one chart that I want to bring up that historically has done a very good job of kind of calling local tops and local bottoms of cycles here is the unrealized profit and loss chart, the NUPL. Okay, so I'm not worried about a local or cycle top with the market until we reach this blue zone. And in fact, I honestly hope we get a pullback, because if we get a pullback, that would be very healthy. Folks, we're in a bull cycle. Whenever, first off, pullbacks are to be expected. It's almost it's only the most normal thing ever. But also, the longer and the more extended the pullback, the stronger the next impulse on the other end. You want lots of sideways price action. You want lots of consolidation, because that makes the general macro uptrend more sustainable over the long term. We do not want to enter this blue euphoria zone too quick. Whenever we enter this blue euphoria zone, too many people are making too much money too fast, and it's unsustainable and very precarious. So we don't want that to happen. We want an extended pullback. We want some of these market indicators to relax and have a pullback. So I honestly hope this is a double top, because I think it would make the macro uptrend more sustainable. Now, look, we probably, with bull markets sometimes act illogically. We can still pump, even though some indicators are pointing towards us being overbought. But I mean, we're always overbought in a parabolic uptrend. But with that being said, very important chart moving forward to try and understand what's going on. Now, another very important off chart factor to be aware of is the Bitcoin long to short ratio. This is always a good chart to look at, try and get a sense of the market, know what the market is saying. And right now, there are more shorts than there are longs. You can see here, this is aggregating a bunch of different exchanges. And over all these different exchanges, they're currently, the markets is 61.3% of the market is shorting, and only 38.7% of the market is longing. So could this be enough to actually make this a double top and us have some kind of pullback here? Perhaps there's definitely more selling pressure. So if we pull back, again, nothing to be worried about, folks, if you're a long-term holder. But then again, I'm not a financial advisor. These are not financial advice. Do not listen to me or do. It is up to you, boo. So another very interesting thing to bring it back to Ethereum here. So lots of interesting Ethereum developments. We have optimistic rollups set to launch sometime this month, which will improve the transactions per second from the current tens to perhaps thousands, and aims to improve some gas fees. We have the Berlin hard fork coming in April 14th, April 15th. That will further aim to improve gas fees on Ethereum, make improvements to Ethereum virtual machine, and some safety features. We in fact have had Vitalik Buterin, the founder or co-founder of Ethereum, has recently commented on optimistic rollups, saying that rollups will facilitate an increase in transactional throughput by a factor of 100. So there you go, folks. That's a 100x. We're getting 100x in Ethereum. This is very good to see. Now, miners have been kind of throwing a hissy fit here, which is actually so miners have been threatening to move hashing power over to another pool in order to kind of like protest EIP 1559, because EIP 1559 will take away a lot of the profits that miners are currently enjoying. So for those who don't know, EIP 1559 stands for Ethereum Improvement Proposal 1559, which will make Ethereum deflationary by burning transaction fees. Folks, this is the year of Ethereum. We have increased scalability. We have improvements to gas fees. We have Ethereum becoming deflationary. 2021, folks. Lots of big stuff happening with Ethereum. I have never been more bullish about Ethereum's long-term future than right now. And then, another thing as well, one of our Discord members the other day, folks, join our Discord down in the description below. He was saying, or this person was saying, you know, I'm worried about Ethereum. There's no hype behind it. It's not really taking off, and it's not really exciting. And I'm like, folks. That is exactly why I'm so bullish on Ethereum. It's because Ethereum really hasn't had a major hype cycle like Cardano or NFTs or something else. It's because we haven't really had insane price action. Folks, Ethereum's prior cycle's all-time high was right around like 1420. So we're a few percentages away from we're 20% away from Ethereum's previous cycle's all-time highs. Okay, the Bitcoin's previous cycle's all-time highs was $20,000. Okay, we're quite a ways away from $20,000. Let's see how, let's say this is all-time highs right there. Bitcoin's just approximately up over 180% from its previous cycle's all-time highs. Ethereum's is only up 20% from its all-time highs. Folks, Ethereum is undervalued. It is a good thing that there's not massive hype behind it yet. It is a good thing that we haven't seen the crazy price action behind Ethereum yet, because it means you are early. We're in a bull cycle, and we have insanely bullish catalysts for Ethereum back to back to back over the next few months. Folks, do not sleep on Ethereum. It has first mover advantage. The vast majority of users, the vast majority of developers, the vast majority of value locked in its ecosystem, the network effect. Ethereum is extremely well positioned to be crowned the king of the smart contract interoperable ecosystem in the end. Now, with that being said, I'm not a blockchain maximalist, folks. I own Cardano, I own Polkadot, I own Elrond. There's a lot of these other interesting projects doing similar things that I own, and I think can succeed and do well. It's not a winner-take-all situation. With that being said, you need to acknowledge how well-positioned Ethereum is and not, be delusional about what's going on here. Now look, Ethereum's not perfect and it has a lot of issues, but let's keep looking here at our indicators here before I keep ranting, because I can go for quite some time. Let's take a look at the daily here. So we had a bullish crossover, but it's looking weak, folks. Look at this. Weighted MACD, which acts as a leading indicator on the regular MACD, has had a bearish crossover. Stochastic RSI, bearish crossover on the way up. Regular RSI, lower highs. Ooh, folks, I keep mentioning this. Oh, this is so beautiful. Okay, so this is like the thing we need to watch to understand. There's just this, like, fuck everything else. Look, folks, look at this. The RSI, just follow. I'm not telling you what to do, but look, the daily RSI is going to be very important for understanding when Ethereum breaks. I think this is going to be the thing, folks, the daily RSI on Ethereum. Once we break above this red resistance sign here on the RSI on the daily for Ethereum, I think that is when we truly explode in enterprise discovery. Now, we're getting rejected off this thing, so we could see perhaps a significant pullback. Maybe we fall back down, maybe we make a higher low, maybe we make a lower low. Whenever it is we break above this red line here and start to make higher highs in RSI, I think that is when we really start to see the crazy price action for Ethereum. Now, something else to consider: if Bitcoin enters price discovery, let's say the bulls do win, right? If Bitcoin enters price discovery, that is going to place the temporary dampers on the altcoins pumping. That, the altcoins will suffer temporarily if Bitcoin's entering price discovery and exploding parabolically. Now, that is just temporary. It's actually a good thing if Bitcoin explodes. It's just the altcoins lag behind. So that's just something you need to be aware of. So let's say we have more of an extended pullback. Again, 1720 I think is that floor. That doesn't hold this green support line here. This green support line kind of paired with, I'd say, 1657, kind of these peaks here. Yeah, there's a lot of peaks around 1557, 16, I'd say 1660, folks. So just to make this more clear, 1720, 1660, and then 1560, I think are kind of our three temporary floors of support. And aside from that, I think maybe one of the most important support areas for Ethereum moving forward is the 200 EMA on the 8-hour and the 10-hour. They're pretty interchangeable because if you can see here, last time we pumped and dumped, where did we stop dumping? Where did we find the support? It was the 200 exponential moving average on the 8-hour and 10-hour. So I bet you this is probably going to be a relevant support level moving forward. So these are kind of the four support levels that I think Ethereum will fall to if we have a pullback here. So, 1620-ish, 1720-ish, 1560, and then the 200 EMA on the 8-hour. Now, let's keep looking here. Let's see if we can see any bullishness, because we are finding support at that 1720 level. Let's see if that can hold if we're seeing something interesting pop up. So daily is starting to look weak. 12-hour, further weakness. Not telling me it doesn't look strong. It doesn't look confident. 6-hour, oh yeah, it's very bearish, folks. Look at that. We're oversold, overbought, sorry, and we're going back down. Very bearish. Everything's bearish all the way around. Now, let's take a look at the 4. Yeah, not very strong. Not very convincing at all. Yeah, even the weighted MACD is not convinced of itself. Okay, let's keep looking. 2-hour. Okay, 2-hour is where we're really starting to see some of that strength start to build up. The histogram starting to take up. The weighted MACD, it seems like I might want to have a bullish crossover. The stochastic RSI had that bullish crossover. For those who don't know, the stochastic RSI is great for understanding shifts and trends, but not the extent of the shift and trend. So I like to pair the stochastic RSI with the regular RSI. Stochastic RSI can sometimes act as a leading indicator on the RSI, and the weighted MACD with the regular MACD, because the weighted MACD can sometimes act as a leading indicator on the regular MACD. So that's why I like using them. Now, let's look at the 1. Okay. So, 1 hour starting to show some strength here, but let's take a look at the half. Let's finish off because I want to see if, okay. Yeah, we're in an uptrend. Okay, so, for the moment, there's nothing telling me in the short term that we're very likely to break down from this level. But, you know, if Bitcoin decides to tank, that's definitely going to take the rest of the market with it. So, you know, the key level for, I think, Ethereum to remain short-term bullish is just this green box here. If we start to break down from this, I think it's more likely that we retest these levels here and perhaps make a higher low and find support at maybe just around the $1,500 level. So that's what I'm thinking about with Ethereum in the short term here. Now, over long term, let's say we do break out, you know, all-time highs will act as resistance, but let's say we break past that. I'd say, you know, 2190, our next temporary stop, and then after that, 2400, just based off some fib levels here. But over the long term, what do I think Ethereum has a good chance of doing? Well, I like to say Ethereum has a very good chance of reaching the tens of thousands of dollars this cycle. I think 10,000 is kind of conservative, 20,000 maybe, you know, more a moderate, you know, guesstimate, and 30,000 perhaps a bit more optimistic. Now, I don't know that for sure. Nobody knows for sure how this one's going to go, but I do think it's much more easy to understand when the cycle is likely to reach some kind of top. And so I'm selling based off when I think this cycle is likely to reach some kind of top, regardless of price action. So I think that top is likely to come late September with Bitcoin, and Ethereum roughly a month after. Because if we look at the previous cycle, Ethereum reached its peak roughly a month after Bitcoin, so I think something similar has a good chance of happening this time around. So if Bitcoin is supposed to reach its, you know, peak, you know, September, October, and Ethereum a month after, I have the better part of a year before we're likely to reach some kind of peak. So come September, come October, come November, that is when I'm looking to scale out and sell out slowly over my with my Ethereum long-term positions, regardless of price. So whether Ethereum's at 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, or 50,000, I'm selling based off time frames and not so much specific price targets. Although, you know, if we hit 10K, I'll take like some profit. But the bulk of my selling will be off time frames with those time frames I just mentioned. So, yeah, folks, look, these are some of the most interesting things that you need to be aware of. If you want more of this stuff, stay tuned to this channel. If you like what we do and you want to support us, join our Patreon. Link for that down in the description. You'll get access to our VIP Discord group. We talk about low cap gems, very gorgeous low cap gems that I'm very excited to move into, although I shed a tear whenever I have to sell Ethereum to buy a low cap, but I think they're going to do good. So yeah, low cap gems, very helpful resources, and as well, just check out our regular Discord. We have tons and tons of helpful resources. We talk crypto there all the time. We talk to our Discord members regularly, answer questions, that kind of thing, and we're going to try and have more regular coin calls moving forward, where we you know, summarize the market and answer some questions. Typically on the weekends, we're gonna try and shoot for the weekends. We'll do one this weekend. We'll definitely do one this weekend. So folks, join our Discord. Link for that down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care.